Welcome back, everybody, to Warhammer Weekend Times. I'm your host, Stan, and today I've got a 3v3 battle for you guys. I am going to be playing as the Tomb Kings, and my allies are going to be Nate the Great playing as Hochland, and over here we have Gojira from Gojira Total War playing as the Lizardmen. Our opponents are going to be Moxie playing as the Night Goblins. Way over here we have... Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong guy. Way over here we have Oddity playing as the Vampire Counts, and then we have Tom Doof playing as the Orcs and Goblins. Let's go ahead and go over the army compositions, guys, because this battle does start off pretty quickly, and I don't want to waste a second. So Tom has some Orc Boar Big and Bodyguard. He's also got a couple units. I think he's actually got about 4 units of Goblins, 4 units of Orc Boys in total. He's got a unit of Night Goblins, some Black Orcs, a huge line of Goblin Archers in front. I think he has 4 units of Goblin Archers as well. He's got some Black Orc Destroyers, and then some Nasty Skulkers, which do have armor piercing. Over here, he has some more of Cav. He's got some Orc Boar Biggins, and then a unit of Giants. And I think that's going to be his own army right there. Over here for Oddity's army, he has a very long line of zombies in front. I think in total he has 3 units of zombies. He's got a couple units of Graveguard, a unit of Drakenhof Guard, and then a couple units of Graveguard Halberdiers. And then in the back is going to be where his money really went. He's got 2 units of Blood Dragon Knights, which is absorbently expensive, and then he has a unit of Black Knights. So Oddity has a very low unit count army, probably has a lot of units or a lot of troops in his army, but it is does not have a lot that he has to micro. It's mostly going to be those knights. Over here for Moxie's army, in the back, he's got a ton of Goblin Archers. Actually, I think he's only got 4 Goblin Archers, the same amount as Tom does, but there's some loose formation and spread out a little bit more. In the back, he's got a Doomdiver Catapult. In front, he's got a bunch of Night Goblins mixed in with some Madcap Loons, which are basically kind of a morale buffing unit. They bolster the morale of the units that they're close to. On Moxie's right flank, he has an overwhelming amount of Goblin Squig Herd. He's got 4 units of Night Goblin Squig Herd, and then a unit of Colossal Squig, which do go berserk once you throw them into melee, so you lose control of them, so it's very important to use them at the proper time. Over here for Gojira's army, he has a large amount of Cold One Cav. He's got 2 units of Cold One Cav, and then a unit of Saurus Scarvets, along with some Pterodon Riders. In the back, he's got some Croxagore, several units of Skink Cohort. I think he's got 2 units of Skink Cohort in total. He's got a couple units of Skink Archers, a unit of Saurus Spears in front in loose formation, and then a bunch of Sauruses, about 4 units of Sauruses, and then a couple units of Temple Guard. Over here for Nate's army, he has some Knights in Carmine, some Knights Panther, and a unit of Inner Circle Knights. He's also got some Drakewall Patrol, kind of guarding his flanks. He's made kind of a nice formation for himself. In front, he's got some Hochland Jaeger Corps. He's also got a couple units of Flagellants, which are unbreakable but very expendable infantry. He's got some Empire Swordsmen. He's also got a couple units of Great Swords, a Hellblaster Volley Gun, and I think that is going to be his whole army. He's very compacted in here. His only range units are really going to be the Jaeger Corps and his gun, so he's going to want to keep Oddity at bay for as long as he can. Over here on my side, I have a very long line of Spearmen in front. I've also got a unit of Bone Giants right here. Behind them, I've got a couple units of Skeleton Warriors, some Asp-Legion of Libaris, and Skeleton Archers in the back. Up here, I've got some Cav. I've got a unit of Skeleton Horsemen, some Skeleton Heavy Horsemen, and then in the back, I've got some more Skeleton Chariots, which are going to be really nice this game. I absolutely love Chariots. Also, in the front, hidden, I've got a couple units of Tomb Swarm, which Tom cannot see, so if he goes and moves up, he's going to get kind of tar-pitted, or if he moves his Cav into a position that I don't want him to be, I can kind of stop his engagement there. So let's go ahead and go full speed, guys. Actually, I'm going to slow this down because the engagements do start pretty fast. Nate the Great is going to start off by firing into Oddity's line. He's going to take out a few zombies, actually, with those Hellblaster Volley Guns. Typically, you want to use those for high HP targets like Giants or Croxagores or Ogres or anything that will really need to take a beating, but he's actually doing a really good job at taking out kind of vertical lines of these zombies and Drakenhof Guard. You can see right here, there's lots of corpses that are being left behind. It's a good thing that these guys do not have morale penalties, because that can actually be pretty problematic as they got closer. Definitely orcs and goblins and night goblins would have more of an issue against a gunpowder-based army like the Empire. So these guys are kind of trading blows, or at least Nate the Great is throwing stuff out at Oddity, and Oddity is sending in his zombies as a response. It looks like Nate the Great is going to go for an early charge with his Knights Panther. If he can thin out a lot of these zombies and get rid of a lot of these lighter infantry early on, he's going to have a distinct advantage in numbers, and then he will just really need to focus down the cavalry that is coming his way. It looks like Oddity is moving his cavalry down as well. I don't think any of them are in the line of sight of those Hellblaster volley guns, but that would not be a bad target to try and tickle off a couple of their numbers. Over here, Gojira has begun his engagement against Moxie. Again, let's slow this down a little bit, guys, because a lot happens this game early on, and I don't want to miss important stuff. Moxie has his Night Goblins engaged against the Sauruses and Temple Guard. You can see lots of these arrows coming in from those Goblin Archers. The Goblins are actually having some morale issues, even with the Madcap Loons. There are a lot of Sauruses moving in here. Over here on the far right side, it seems like the Goblin Squig Herd, or the Night Goblin Squig Herd, are actually kind of... Look at this Croxigore running back and forth. It looks like they're actually getting kind of tore up by some of these Croxigores. Typically, the Squig Herd could do pretty good if they get some cycle charges in the Croxigores, or against the Croxigores, but the Croxigores just... Excuse me, guys. The Croxigores just have the HP and the defense to really be able to tie down these Night Goblin Squig Herd and trade pretty favorably with them. The Source Scarvets are probably not where Gojira will want them, although this might be where he wants them, I don't know. But these are they're kind of concentrated here. This usually is not a good thing for Cav to be in the middle of, because Squig Herd get a definitive bonus against cavalry. But it looks like Gojira is probably going to be pretty okay so long as he has his Croxigores taking out these Squig Herd here. And it looks like another one is going to go down right there. It looks like some of these Skink Archers are also firing, but I think they're getting a little bit more friendly fire than anything else. One of the Colossal Squigs has fallen, no doubt, to the Skink Cohort, which have Javelins and do an incredibly boosted amount of damage against any kind of Elephantine unit, which Colossal Squigs and Squig Horde definitely do fall into that category. And it looks like we're going to see the last bit of this Skink Cohort, or at least the last bit of these that were left over here, torn up. The main part of that unit is pretty okay, and if they can get a couple volleys off into this Colossal Squig, it'll definitely make the difference for Gojira. These Madcap Loons and Night Goblins actually on this right flank are doing pretty good. The ones in the center are having a major issue, however. It looks like Moxie's left flank is actually crumbling as a lot of these sources are pushing through into these Goblin Archers. I don't think there's really anything else that Moxie can do. Okay, here we go. It looks like these Pterodons are going to go straight into these Doomdiver catapults, but they are listed as normal just horses, so they are going to get just shredded by those stakes. Typically, any kind of elephant unit will just trample the stakes. But yeah, he just sent them in. And really, that's okay. I think he just sent them in to just kind of tie them down, because right now, really, the engagement is looking pretty favorable for Gojira, now that he's being able to move in against... excuse me, guys. Against these Night Goblin Archers, with a lot of his sources, it does seem like he is beginning to overwhelm Moxie, and the loss of Moxie's Squig Herd and the Colossal Squig is going to be pretty detrimental to Moxie throughout the rest of this game. Let's go ahead and take a look at my engagement right now and see what's going on over here. I am charging in with my Skeleton Horsemen into these Orc Boar Biggins. Lots and lots of stuff going on over here. My Skeleton Heavy Horsemen are going to be charging through. Looks like really erratically. That was a terrible charge. Oh, actually, no, I think I was going for the Goblins, actually. So, okay, that was actually a pretty decent charge. I managed to rout these Goblins, and I'm beginning to move my units in. This is all over the place. This kind of central area is, really, it's looking like Tom kind of is maintaining a pretty good hold on it. I am getting my Chariots into a really nice threatening position, however. It looks like my Skeleton Heavy Horsemen over here are going to get a nice charge against those Black Orcs, and then as that is happening, I'm going to get my Chariots to charge through Tom's Goblin Archers, and it looks like these are going to rout it over here. I don't know if that's because of the Chariots or not. These seem to not really have too much of an issue with the Chariots moving through them. It also could be because of the Bone Giants being in here and just causing a lot of morale damage. They're in a good spot right now to kind of to sway in here. There's really not a lot that can threaten them, and I am going to be able to kind of chew onto those kind of lighter units and do a lot of damage to their morale. My skeleton chariots are also being pretty instrumental in getting in here and kind of being able to freely move throughout Tom's line. I'm able to kind of knock his troops around, maybe disrupt his formation enough, trying to keep my chariots as close as I can together and microed. The more micro you invest into your chariots, the better they're going to do. But if you just let them sit there and take hits in melee, they are not going to last long at all. But they are extremely instrumental in dealing with other cavalry, especially factions that have very strong cav, like vampire counts. The chariots can really help out a lot. My skeleton heavy horsemen over here are going to begin to get a really nice charge against these goblin archers. They're going to be moving in here, going to take out these archers. Hopefully they're going to be wavering, and they're going to break right there. That is going to be one more unit that I do not have to deal with. And as they break, I'm going to take my skeleton heavy horsemen. I'm not going to pursue them, and I'm going to go straight down into the tukuses of these orc boys who are already shaken and wavering. And with that, with my skeleton heavy horsemen moving in and really doing a lot of damage to these guys, that is going to cause that unit to rout. And I'm going to begin to be able to kind of push through this engagement now. I'm going to have some more freedom with my skeleton archers to move in. It does look like over here, though, Tom is beginning to get into a really good position with his Orc Corps Biggins. I don't know which unit he's going for. It looks like he's going for the Asp Legion of Libaris. A lot of his units are going to get tarred down, though, by my skeleton spearmen, and only a few of the Orc boys, only about 5 or 6 of them are going to get through, really, into my Asp Legion and not do nearly as much damage. That could have gone from a very bad charge for me, and it actually went very good for me because those skeleton spearmen were able to kind of stop up that cav unit. Typically, really light infantry like that's not something you want to have get charged by those larger biggins, especially for morale reasons. But again, Tomb Kings not having any kind of morale penalties or anything like that is really convenient. I'm going to get a nice, pretty decent charge over here with my skeleton heavy horsemen. And my looks like I'm going to lose one of my bone giants over there. I still have one bone giant moving relatively freely through these guys and chasing some of these orc boys. I think it was his giant that killed my bone giant. He has lost a giant himself, I think, to one of my chariots. And I just need to kind of be careful over here with how I engage. The Black Orc bodyguards are still in here, but this engagement has really kind of gone all over the place. It seems like the flank over here finished off a little bit earlier. I've got some skeleton chariots in the back moving up against some of these goblin archers, and I'm going to lose my bone giant right there, and that's going to be it for me, for my bone giants. And that's actually going to help Tom a lot. I don't really have a lot left. I got my skeleton archers, I've got some chariots, and some infantry, but that's basically it. Over here with Nate the Great's engagement against Oddity, the Blood Dragon Knights are doing a lot. Nate had some really nice charges early on with his cav, but I believe that over time, the Blood Dragon Knights were just able to outmuscle them, and right now, Oddity is just cannibalizing these Hochland Jaeger Corps. If Nate can kind of alternate his fire at will, he might be able to get some shots off with these Jaeger Corps and take out some more of these Blood Dragon Knights. Anything will help at this point. My engagement is very close right now, and it seems like it's pretty close over here. If these Blood Dragon Knights, however, start charging, it's not going to be good whatsoever. Looks like there's a couple Drakenhof Guard down here with some Grave Guard. They're going to begin to move up. Nate the Great is going to get some shots off with those Hochland Jaeger Corps. I don't know if he's going to get any kills with that volley, though. If he gets another couple volleys, he could get lucky and actually pick off quite a few of these Blood Dragon Knights. Those Jaeger Corps have a very high damage output on their rifles, and they are ideal for dealing with units like Blood Dragon. Anything that are highly armored, using a shield, multi-HP, gunners really excel at killing, especially some of the special units like the repeater handgun units or the long rifles. They're all very, very good at dealing with these really tougher units. So Nate the Great's engagement and Oddity engagement is going to be wrapping up here fairly shortly. It looks like Nate the Great does have the supremacy in that engagement. Come over here and we can see Gojira overwhelmingly won his engagement against Moxie. I think a lot of these units began to rout as soon as his center began to rout. It didn't look good over on this left flank anyway because he was starting to lose some units, and as soon as those units begin to chain rout, I mean, it's like it's extraordinarily hard to stop, especially if there's some cav charges happening or just any of these really strong units. I'm pretty sure Temple Guard frightened units. I could be I could be wrong about that. I know Crocs of War do for sure, and the lower morale of Night Goblins would definitely be susceptible to that, even with... look at these flagellants going down. Even with the bonuses from those Madcap Loons. Right now, Night Goblins are in a really weird spot. I don't play them very well. I know Tom plays them extraordinarily well. He has a much better understanding about how their mechanics work than I do, or at least their playstyle. I just never get around to playing them. They're very squishy. I know if you're patient with them, you can make a very nice archer and artillery builds with them. I do know their wizards work a little bit better now as well. I don't think they're still an artillery unit in this iteration of the game, which is pretty important. Back over here in my engagement, I'm going to be rounding off these Black Orcs from Tom, and we've got some Legion of Lybaris over here, trying to fight off against some of these Orc Boar Biggins, and they are beginning to show signs of routing. They're shaken, they're getting tired, and they could rout as soon as they start losing body counts, as there's only 3 of them. I'm trying to keep my chariots mobile, but they're really getting swarmed by a lot of these orcs. I'm going to lose a chariot there. And that's kind of what I mean, guys. If they can bog down your chariots with other cav or any kind of high mass unit, or take them out with range units, that's typically how you want to deal with chariots. You don't really want to have to fight them in melee. If someone's really giving them their micro, it's going to be extraordinarily difficult and just a pain to really have to deal with. Usually you want to maybe send some sacrificial units at them or something, or just take them out as soon as you can. They can be really problematic if you have a lot of cav in your army. But if you have pretty high mass units, or if you have any kind of shield wall formation with a lot of your swordsmen or spearman units, that can be very instrumental as well, as that doubles your mass for the unit that you're currently using that ability on. So over here, the Black Orc Bodyguard are pretty much all that is left for Tom. He has lost his last giant to one of my chariots. I'm not sure where that body is. I think it's right over here. Yeah, those chariots, man, I absolutely love them. I only brought 2 this game. They've done a very good job of disrupting the units, of causing morale damage. When they get a nice charge in like this, they kind of compound each other. They'll both be hitting the same unit, and it kind of seems to funnel units kind of in between them where they can really do a lot of damage to a lot of them that are spread out. So I don't have much left. I've got a couple of units of Asp Legion. It looks like Oddity is beginning to move down his Blood Dragon Knights against some of my archers, and he's going to have no problem at all just decimating them. Even with only a few Blood Dragon Knights left, he's got about 6 in each unit left, so 12 Blood Dragons in all, Blood Dragons in all, is not going to be, he's not going to have too many issues dealing with some light archer units whatsoever. He is going to lose a couple Blood Dragon, those. I think he's lost 2. Yeah, he lost about 2 right there. I'm going to move in some of my chariots. I think he's going to lose a couple more here as well. I know he loses about 2 more, so he lost 2 from each unit. If I can get some nice cycle charges with these chariots, you can kind of see how I move them out. Move them back in. They got another nice charge off right there. I'm going to lose another Blood Dragon Knight. Chariots are very good at dealing with cav. Looks like Tom is probably going to win his engagement against what I have left over here. That's going to be it. I think that's going to be Nate admitting defeat right there. I don't think he had anything left. If he did, I think may have just been a few flagellants at that point. I don't have any infantry left, which is... I mean, at this point, the game is really winding down. It's not terribly important. My Asp Legion can make relatively decent infantry at this point in the game just because of how many there are. I don't really have too much to contend with against these Blood Dragon Knights. Their numbers are falling considerably fast to my chariots, and I'm just kind of like drive-buying them, give them a little bit what's for as they tear through my Asp Legion. Looks like Tom is going to be moving up his Black Orc Bodyguard probably against what's left of my Asp Legion. And if they form a tight formation, he can probably tear through my Asp Legion pretty quick. We're going to go up here and look at Gojira's army marching forth. He has a lot of sources. So basically, Gojira is going to definitively win this game for us. It has been extremely close between my engagement and Tom's engagement, and Oddity and Nate's engagement. Oddity only having really this 1 Blood Dragon left. I only have a few units. It's my last Asp Legion. my last skeleton in that Asp Legion unit. I have a couple skeleton archers left, and that's it for me. I think I still have... I've got some chariots somewhere. I'm not sure where... Yeah, they're out here. I think they were... No, those are Gutierrez units. Oh, here they are. Yeah, I've got some units out here, over here. Oh, looks like Tom also has some goblin archers left. But as you guys can see, the balance of power is very much in our favor. When you look at the percentages killed, they're pretty close to each other. They're within an 11% margin. And you've really got to consider all of that for us is just Gojira. That's all that's left. It's just basically Gojira's units. These Black Orcs would actually probably be able to take out my Asp Legion on their own. So, yeah, so Gojira is going to basically be our saving grace in this and be the tiebreaker in this 3v3. Still, we got some of these Blood Dragon Knights fighting against my Asp Legion. I'm going to be moving up my Skeleton Chariots and hopefully take this last pesky Vampire Pretender out. And here we go. They're going to give him a little hug. They're going to hug him. I'm going to give him a nice little tap. Gojira is beginning to kind of encircle this engagement. He's going to move in and probably just rip this Blood Dragon apart. But actually what's going to happen is I think we're all going to back off and actually let this Saurus Scar Veteran 1v1 this Blood Dragon Knight. I'll go ahead and fast forward just a little bit so everybody kind of backs off. I'm in Discord. We're like, oh no, let him fight, let him fight. So here we go. They're going to be moving around. We're going to see this Scarvet 1v1 this Blood Dragon Knight. And as you guys can kind of see, 1v1 cat fights in Medieval 2 are a little wonky. But, I mean, when you think about it, you probably wouldn't just sit there next to a guy and just, like, swing at him with your sword like you see in the movies. You'd be moving around. And there you go. He just turns around and whacks his horse in the face, underhanded like that. But, yeah, they'd probably be moving around. They probably wouldn't be letting themselves get hit and let their mounts get hit. They'd be, you know, dancing around each other on their horse until one of them gets in range. So that's probably realistic. So, guys, that is going to be the replay. I get about 1,700 kills with 242 prisoners. Gojira getting about the same in terms of total, like, if you consider, you know, kills or prisoners as kills. Got very similar kill counts over here. Be interesting to see exactly what his units did, or if a lot of his skills came from his sources or his cavalry. He did rout a considerable amount of units off the field, 456 units taken captive, so he probably got some really nice cav charges in there. I got 242 prisoners captive, probably a lot of those are goblins. Look down here, Tom Doof also got a lot of kills, 1,797. Moxie only getting 630 kills. A lot of his units ended up routing at the beginning. I think he overextended his squig herd on his right flank, and they got picked off just a little bit. Casualties inflicted, I got a nice spread of kills. Lots of my units got pretty high averages. 177 for my Skeleton Heavy Horsemen, 108 for my Skeleton Archers, and 102 for the other Archer unit. My Tomb Swarm did above average at 92 and 94, and then 76. 123 for my Skeleton Warriors, and 152 for the other one. That is exceptionally good. And down here, my Skeleton Chariot's getting 171 and 190. Well, anyway, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this replay. If you guys are ever interested in joining us, please join the Warhammer Week Discord. We play games in there every day. And, yeah, guys, that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you guys have a great day.